Fraser Grut.
What's up, man?
How you going, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, man. Very good, very good. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for calling me.
Now, you've got a very interesting... Do we call it a hobby? What do we call it?
A life mission now.
A life mission.
Yeah.
That is a great title.
Yeah.
What a great title. So you are getting 10,000 people...
That's right.
To say 10,000 dreams, consecutive days.
10,000 days.
10,000 days. How many years does that calculate out at?
27.53924 or something like that. So it's a long time. So my last day doing this will be April the 25th, 2044.
2044.
Yeah.
That's where I got the 44 number from before. That is nuts. The big question, why?
Why, man?
Why'd you start that?
Why I started it was, if I'm being honest, it was a bet with a mate that I'd do it for 1 year. So we were just at actually Deco in Titirangi, and we were having a drink, and he was going off to the States for 6 months. And I was encouraging him. I said, look, every day you should do something when you're in America to challenge yourself. And we were coming up with ideas, and I was like, what if you ask someone every day what their favorite ice cream flavor is? And that was kind of lame. So we kind of moved away, and we're like, you should ask someone what their why is every day. But Rebel Sport had already done their What's Your Why campaign. And then it just came out like, what if you ask someone what their dream in life is? And then I was just like, oh, man, that's a good idea. And I was just like, actually, I'm going to do that. And then we kind of made a bet that I'd do it for 1 year. And I started the next day, was meeting with Art Green, and I just said, oh, do you want to be day number one? I'm just going to do this thing for a year. And I think it was day 258 when I was doing Jacinda that I basically made the call. You know what? I'm going to do this for 10,000 days. And I think the reason I did that was, and I remember now, and actually I'd forgotten, but somehow I remembered.
You enjoy torture?
When I reached out to Jacinda, I knew it would be a tough sell. So I thought 365 days was a pretty weak pitch. And I was like, it doesn't really strike. So I was like, what would sound good if I reached out to a team? And I said, what if I said 10,000 days? They would say yes to that, wouldn't they? So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I did that. And then she said yes. And I was like, well, crap, I got to commit to it now. I got to do 10,000 now.
That's quite the inflation, bro. You've gone from 365 to 10,000.
Everyone, like my whole family, were like, why don't you just do 1,000 and then work it up? I was like, something about 10,000 that just sounds grand, and I love ambitious goals. Yep. And 1 year for the first 3 months, it felt like an eternity. Like, oh my gosh, a year, this is crazy. But now 10,000 doesn't even feel like enough. I'm like, I'd happily do this every day till I die, you know? But my wife wants me to stop at 10,000, so I won't say that.
That is. I don't. What has been like the biggest challenge though? Like you're obviously now you're starting to get into some quite influential people. Online. Actually, when you did Jacinda, was she the PM at the time?
No. She was. I think it was like 3 months before she became PM, and I got her 2 weeks ago actually. Yeah. So it was cool to see how her dream kind of. Transitioned a bit, yeah.
Did you do it again?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I got her for Mother's Day, so she did a dream for her daughter.
Oh, what a guy.
But that wasn't planned. I happened to be somewhere where she was doing an announcement, so I literally just had to go up to her as she was leaving the building.
Sweet.
But I was so stoked, yeah.
How are you getting in contact with the people to do this? Because obviously you've said before that you've got some All Blacks coming up. You did Brendan McCullum the other day. Yeah, how do you get in contact with these people? So
I love guessing emails, and that's basically how this thing started out. And if we're just talking influential people, it's thousands of emails sent, and obviously 98% to no's. But recently, like the last 6 months, suddenly they started to become yeses. And I think it's because I've reworded my email a bit, because I went through at the end of last year, I saw what email I was sending through, I'm like, it doesn't really sell it. So I reworded it. Instead of saying a video blog, I said movement, you know, and and I used to hate name dropping, but I was like, screw it, I'm just going to name drop like 20 people I've filmed, and suddenly everyone started saying yes, and it's, I don't know, man, like I did Jane Goodall a couple of days ago, like I said, doing this campaign with the All Blacks. It's just, it's fun guessing emails, and I figured out a few weeks ago that DMing people on Instagram actually works. Yeah, I was hesitant because I was like, there's no way anyone's going to see it.
It feels too personal. Huh?
Yeah, I was like, they're not going to see it. But that's how we've got like most of the All Blacks was through DMs.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's weird how it works, man. But I think it's like a domino effect. Once you get a couple of influential people, it's a lot easier to get more influential people. Yep. And yeah, I've just been very fortunate, man. It's, you know, like I did Boys Zone recently, and I filmed all their dreams in a toilet, and it's just stories like that, you know, where you're just like, man, like before this I was with the Wiggles, and you know, I got to spend half an hour just chatting with them, and it was just like, oh dude, this is wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is me. I won't ask what was your favorite, because I think you shouldn't do that, but what has been one of the most surprising dreams that you've heard? Or something that was a bit left field. You're like, oh, really? Didn't see that coming?
Did a homeless person, and his dream was to keep doing what he was doing. That was
really?
I didn't expect that at all.
That's cool.
He was completely happy with being homeless.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was. I completely didn't expect it. I think we say surprising, but I think dreams that really meant a lot in hindsight. I got to film my nana and my cousin's dreams before they died. That's cool. And now in hindsight, I'm like, man, I am so, like, those are the ones I look back and I'm like, you know? And my cousin was recently too, but seeing the dream, it's just like, man. Yeah. And I think that's the thing over this project that's going to really, I think, hit home, that in 27 years, you know, people will eventually pass away, and, you know, and later on in life watching back and going to my kids, hey, that was my mate when I was, you know, 18. That was my... Yeah, so, but in terms of surprising dreams, man, it's such a wide variety, and I think I can, in a weird way, I think you can always kind of predict dreams a little bit more, because I've done so many now, so you can kind of gauge off age groups. Like, everyone over 60, it's all about family and legacy. Yeah. Everyone under 10 wants to be a superhero at the moment, specifically Captain America. Everyone in that kind of 18 to 25 gap, heavily now it's around sustainability and the environment. Yep. That's something that's been very common only the last few months. That's almost like every second or third dream now is around sustainability. Yeah. So it's interesting seeing how years change and how kind of age groups change, and yeah, man.
It's interesting, eh? Like, there was a survey done a few years ago of old people living in old folks' homes, and they asked them, what is the one thing that you wish you did more in your lifetime? And almost all of them categorically said, had more kids.
Really?
Meanwhile, you look at millennials and you go, what do you want to do? Travel? You want to have kids?
Yeah.
No.
No.
You know, it's so different. I think there's a knowledge there from seniors, where it's just like they've seen it all, they've done it all, and they know, and they realize what the important things are in life. Whereas for some of the younger ones, and you may go back and do them again, for some of the younger people, they're just not quite 100% sure, or some of their ambitions are a little bit more selfish. So things sort of change as you know, just saying, as the age groups change, that sort of thing. But no, the environment one's an interesting one.
Yeah, man.
Jumping on that, aren't they?
Yeah.
So stylistically,
yes,
there's been some transformations from the start to now.
Definitely, man, yeah.
Obviously, it was much more simple back in the day.
Yeah, and I think back in the day, because I didn't realize it was my life mission. Yeah. And I didn't really, I think only the last year or so I've started to see how it's kind of impacted some people, and I've started to take it a lot more seriously. So when I started, it was kind of just that side project, and I was kind of like, oh, that's right, I've got to do a dream today. So I kind of just, I didn't really think about it. I didn't plan it well. There was no style consistency. So I look back on the first year and I'm just like, oh my goodness, what was I? And then I went through a period, I think it was like day like 100 to 200, where I was just like experimenting a lot. Yeah. So I would like, instead of filming someone's face, I would film like this part of them, like their shoulder or something, or I'd just film them fully silhouetted or reflection. And
fully silhouetted, like incognito.
Yeah, and I think I kind of forgot the point of it. Because I look back now, I'm like, oh man, like I can't even tell who that was anymore. Like that I filmed the dream of, and I think I've realized that keeping it about the person is the most important thing. You know, it's easy as a filmmaker to go, oh, I got to make it creative, more different, more bigger, but it's meant to be simple. And I think, as you mentioned with style, I think I've found what that style is, and it's kind of, I call it the drunk Fraser look, which is just, I don't know, just doing a weird focus thing, and just like when I'm talking to you, I'm not just staring at your eyes the whole time. I'm kind of like talking like this, you know, I'm looking around. Yeah. So it's meant to be like a human looking at another human. You're kind of, you know, out of focus. You're kind of, you know.
Yet still.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
it's still kind of,
indirect.
So I'm trying to make it like that, as if you were watching the person, like, in the flesh.
Cool.
But I love that so many people hate the style. I love it.
You're saying 50-50, eh?
It's very 50-50, man.
Mm.
I've had quite a few marketing companies meet with me, and they're like, you have to change the style or the thing won't work.
What?
And they're always people over 40. And then
Right.
every other social media company, which is usually younger people, are like, the style's great. Keep going with the style.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a style, and you've got a. It's your brand now, eh? The Fraser Junk look. You know? You're on the piss. So, but it looks cool. I like it. I mean, and as a filmmaker,
Thank you, man.
It's cool because it's different, and now I know how you do it. I was guessing. I thought you separated the lens from the camera and all this sort of thing, but turns out it was just it's more simple.
Well, a lot of people think I do it in post.
It's definitely not post.
I'm
But
like, that would be hard to do.
That would be very hard to do in post. It's like, nah, that is real. No, but I think it looks really good.
Thank
and the
you,
graphics as well. Where did you get those from? They came in around about a few hundred ago, eh?
Yeah, so in terms of kind of the brand look, that's changed quite a lot. So it was kind of a very simple, something I did on Premiere Pro myself. I did that for like a year, and then I changed it. And my mate Ryan, who works for me, he's an animator for me, he kind of was like, hey, I've done this. This is what it could look like. And every time I change the look, I'm so hesitant. Like it takes me months to commit because I'm like, it's got to look, if I change it, it's going to change the whole thing. And every time I change the look, like a day later, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was such a good call. Such a good call.
Yeah.
But the look I've got at the moment, I'm pretty happy with. I think this is one I'll stick with for a while. But yeah, my boy Ryan does amazing animation work.
Shout out to Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm starting to brand it a lot more and keeping consistency and like the color's yellow. That's the main kind of color. And it's actually Pikachu yellow. So we just got the same yellow from Pikachu.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm kind of mixing it up now. So like, say when I did the All Blacks, we've got black and white look. You know, with the Wiggles, we've got red, blue, yellow, depending on what color they are. So I'm trying to brand it now based off the person to make it look themed and everything.
Yeah.
But it's all hindsight, man. Like I look back, I'm like, why the heck didn't I do this 2 years ago? What was I thinking? But only now do I realize that, you know, like.
And you quite often think to yourself, if you're going to change, am I doing this for the sake of change?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, a lot of firms, a lot of businesses and that sort of thing, they change for the sake of change, and it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, you had a good thing going on. You know, I've heard a lot of working in advertising, you hear a lot of that sort of thing. You know, some new little creative came in and they wanted to change for the sake of change, and then it was a huge flop. It happens quite often, but what you've done is you've got a nice little brand going on.
Thank you.
And everything seems to be cranking along quite well.
Thank you, dude.
Cool. Who have you got coming up that you're excited about? I saw you. Is it Simon Pegg?
Yeah.
Dude.
So,
man.
Simon Pegg, Edgar Wright.
How'd you get them? Are they coming here?
No. So I kind of know. So my uncle's Nick Frost. So I kind of have connections.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, nephew of Nick Frost.
That's something I don't like saying out too much, but yes.
No, now I'm thinking. So
that
you got his
definitely.
number, bro? No.
So that helped me get in with Simon.
Right.
And Edgar, I guessed his email. So
really?
yeah.
So how are you doing? Are you going to them, or what are you doing?
I'm going to LA in England later this year.
Yeah.
And I'm teeing up some dreams at the moment. But either they're going to send it through, or I'll get them later in the year. So I'm still figuring out the details. But other people come. Man, I've been so stoked. I got Nick Offerman in a couple of weeks. There's some pretty big names coming up that I'm hesitant to announce yet.
No, that's cool.
I can tell you after, but I'm hesitant to announce just in case something comes up. But there's some very cool names coming up that I'm like so stoked. Doing a few more prime ministers. So we're doing, in a couple of weeks, I'm doing Jenny Shipley. So,
cool.
And then I've got, God, I can't remember his name.
Oh, dude.
I think it was the dude before Jenny, or a couple before Jenny, Jeffrey Palmer.
Oh, Jeff Palmer.
Jeff Palmer?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then hopefully we're teeing up Helen Clark soon as well.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But
right.
So All Blacks in a few weeks, doing a campaign with them, doing a week of All Black Dreams. So, really man. Cool. It's just, some doors are flinging open, man.
Yeah. You just got to do it, eh? You just got to put it in and do it. It's like this whole podcasting thing. It was like, I just wanted to do it because I enjoy talking and having conversations and stuff. And you're just looking for something, and you think, well, if you commit to it, if you start something and you let all the inconveniences just slide by. And you just keep on going and going and going, and eventually something comes out of it, and you just don't know.
Absolutely, man.
It could be something.
Yeah, well, I've realized. I think this year I've started to realize what an amazing network tool it is for me.
Yeah.
You know, like it's opened up so many doors for my production company. It's got me in with some people like heroes of mine, and you know, and it's at that point now because I've done it so long where they're very much like interested in it because it's part. You know, for the first year it's kind of like, oh, cool. You know, you're probably not gonna keep going, like especially the first few months. You know, going up to people going, hey. I remember when I first started, I was like, hey, I'm doing this project. And they're like, wow, how long have you done it for? A week. They're like, oh, yeah.
But every project has a week.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
Every project has its week.
Like, oh.
And you're like, oh, yeah. Oh,
but now you're at 905 days. People are like, oh, okay, you're going to do this. It's people know, you know?
I think there's a currency in that too because you've got past your week and you've got past your year. How long have you been doing it for now?
2.5 years, 905 days.
So you got your 2.5 year point. So now when you go to somebody and you say, I've got this idea, people will go, oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they can see the commitment. They can see your drive towards something. And, doors will open.
And I think it's a question too people don't talk about much, eh? Like, what's your dream? Like, it's
New Zealanders are tricky, man.
Yeah.
Kiwis are hard to open up and just to get to say, you go to an American and you say, tell me about yourself. Bang, there's an hour gone. You go to a Kiwi. I said this. I was talking about with Genevieve the other day actually, and it was you go to a New Zealander and you say, you know, tell me about yourself, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm from Timaru. That's about it, really.
Yeah. I
work in meatworks. You know, that's all you're going to get because we just don't have that sort of confidence or that bravery. But what you're doing is it's short form, obviously, so it's not 1 minute max. You were saying.
Yeah, and I go to them. So it's not like, hey, give me 2 hours of your time. It's like, I'll come to you. I'll be 2 minutes. Yeah. And it's a question that I guess anyone in the world could probably answer because it's such a universal question. And that's what gets me excited it is the type of project that could take me anywhere because it's not just a New Zealand idea. You know, it's a global idea. Yeah.
Mean.
Where was I going with that?
Who knows, but it sounds really good.
Can't even remember.
Production company. Yeah. So... What makes you qualified to be a cameraman, bro?
All right, man.
How did you get into it? What's your production background?
So I run a film company called Frog. Started when I was 7 years old, technically. Oh, gosh. It's the sparkling water. So it's been my dream since I was 7, man. I told my parents when I was a young kid that I wanted to be the greatest filmmaker of all time. And so I started out with all Action Man and Barbie movies. Then I kind of upgraded to my teddy bears. And then I started using my brothers and promised them pay. Never paid them or slave labor. And he sent my younger brother to hospital because I made him lie in the bush and he got attacked by, I think, wasp or something. And I was just stay there. Yeah. And then I got into film school at 16, did a 3-year film degree at Unitec, graduated at 19, and then spent the next year and a half of my life making a feature film, which I directed.
Cool.
So basically grabbed my class, had 15 crew members. We did 33-day shoot, raised $100,000 from donations, family and friends. And yeah, man, just chased my dream. And it came out at Rialto end of 2015 for a week.
Yep.
And that's the point where I was expecting Hollywood to come knocking. And I was like, I've made it. It's going to happen. I'm 21. I'm going to be a prodigy. It's going to... No one gave a crap that I made a They were impressed I made a feature film. Yeah. But it didn't open up any doors. And so basically after that point, man, I just went through a 6-month period where I quit film. Became a Muppet. Yeah. Just lost my focus completely. I felt like a failure. Because first day of film school, I told the whole class I was going to win an Oscar at 23. I said I'm going to be the youngest director to ever win an Oscar. Right? And on my last day of film school, I said the exact same thing. It was always the goal, always the plan. I knew exactly how I was going to get there. And the problem was, because my dream was for Oscar, the films I made were all about how do I win an Oscar. Right. Everything I did was about Oscars. Yeah. And it's not me. I want to make kids films. That's my passion. Really? Yeah, that's 100% where I want to go. The kids and family films. And kid and family films don't win Oscars, so it's usually, you know. Not usually, yeah. So it was just that huge learning curve, man. And I think that's this project, man. It's helped me. I'll get deep now.
Yeah, do it.
when I first started this, my dream still was to win an Oscar 23. It still was to be the greatest filmmaker ever. And this project has completely changed my dream. And it's made me realize that it's not about me. It's about others. And now my dream is about how do I use my gift to help the world dream. And so the films I want to make, I want them to be dream related. I want them to be about dreams. Because that's the thing I want to walk down the street for. I'll march down the street for, man. That's my one thing. If I summarize my life, it would be dreams. And I think that's what I'm meant to do, man. I think that's my calling. Obviously, I still want to be a great filmmaker, but it's humbled me massively, man. Before I started this project, I was a lot different. I was cocky as. I was all about how do I get famous? How do I get rich? And it's just weird how it works in different ways, man. Your life just completely... That one coffee, well, I drink fluffies, so it was that one fluffy with a mate. Just completely changed the course of my life, you know. But what makes me qualified, man? I've been doing film for 18 years now. Yeah. So it's my passion. It's what I'm meant to be doing, I think.
Have you got more? Have you got some based on your newfound knowledge?
Yeah.
Have you got some ideas, some scripts, some scribblings?
Yeah, so I've got I've started to collaborate with a kids author called Stu DeVal. He's written like 20 kids books. And so I'm making a short film this year called The Everest Tree, which is about a young boy who dreams of being the next Edmund Hillary, and his goal for the summer is to climb a giant tree outside his window. So that's kind of the first film I'm ever going to make with this newfound knowledge of it's about dreams. This is why I'm doing it. Yeah. And it's going to be the first 10,000 Dreams movie as well. Right. So that's why I'm taking 10,000 Dreams. So I'm looking at turning that into a charity as well this year. And I want to create movies underneath that banner about dreams to kind of add to the brand and everything. And then the next feature film I'm making, which is in development now, and I've had meetings with producers and everything. It's called Kid Scoop, and it's an idea I've been throwing around for a few years, but it's about a school for dreams where every kid in the school has a dream, and it's over the top, it's magical, and the film's based around the one kid in the school that doesn't know what his dream is. And it's all about your dream is your superpower, basically.
That's cool. Have you seen A Monster Calls?
I've watched half of it.
Bro.
But it was very late at night, and then...
It's so good. I saw it at the film festival a couple of years ago with a mate of mine. And we were late 30s, and we're just manly men. And we get in there, but I swear to God, at the end of it, we were in tears. Yeah. We were like, this is like... It was just so... It's all about dreams. Yeah. And it's all about this kid's imagination. And also nightmares. And you have to see it. You got to finish watching that film. I'm not going to give it away, but it's the tree. There's a tree and a tree monster type thing, and it's voiced by Liam Neeson. And
yeah.
That is awesome. It's so good. No, seriously, I highly recommend that. As soon as you were talking, I was like, you've got to see that film.
Yeah.
So, what does your wife make of all this? Like you mentioned it before, but what does she really think about all this?
It's hard as on my wife, man.
Yeah.
It's harder on my wife than it is me because I guess it's my mission, so I'm kind of every day. Well, not every day, man. Most of the time I'm inspired by it, and it's the journey I'm going on. But for my wife, I mean, it affects our whole life. Yeah. It's our wedding day. I had to film a dream. It's Christmas Day. It's honeymoon. It's when we go on holiday. Like this year, we're going on holiday to LA and London for Christmas. But I'm teeing up dreams like the whole time. So there's no break anymore. And it's going to be that way for 27 years, when our kids are born, I'm going to have to film a dream the day my kids are born. Yeah. So she's been incredibly supportive. Yeah. And it's cool to see, because it's picked up momentum the last couple of months. And it's cool to see her getting excited by that as well. Because I know I think last year I went through a very stagnant period where it didn't grow at all. And in fact, it went down. Like views went down, everything went down. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's dying before my eyes. Yeah. And I think it's cool to see, like, when you start to get awesome things pop up, that my wife can be involved with them, and she can come meet some people that she loves as well. And I couldn't ask for someone more supportive and loving to have in my life, man. It's amazing having her there, but it is very hard. Yeah, it's very hard. I'm not going to lie.
I think it's brilliant too. And you're 25, married for 2 years.
Yes,
mate.
2.5 years.
That is awesome. Well played.
I love it, man. I love being married.
Oh, just stop it. I'm 40 and almost tragic.
I was
40.
very scared to get married, and I was so hesitant for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I think I bought into that. I think a lot of artists have that idea of once you're married, it's done, game over. You're going to have to give up on your dream, and you know. And I bought into that for a while. And as soon as I got married, it became easier almost because you have someone there by your side.
Yeah.
Having someone with a more stable income as well, like that definitely helps. I'm not gonna lie, that definitely helps a lot. But it's just, you know, having someone to fight for, there's more purpose to your life now because it's not just about you anymore. It's about someone else. So I'm hesitant with kids, but I know it's probably going to be the exact same mindset. The second I go, okay, let's do it, and you know, it's scary to have kids. Right? I'm really scared, but as soon as that happens, I'm going to be like, oh, this is amazing. This hasn't actually changed. It's made life more purpose now.
More fulfillment.
Yeah.
You know? And that you may even take another diversion. You will. Let's be honest. You'll take another diversion in your creative thing. You know what I mean? You're not going to stop what you're doing, but you know, you look at things slightly differently.
But it's interesting because I started this project a month before we got married. So literally, like, it's kind of like 2 stages of my life, before this project and after, you know, like as soon as I started this project, I got married, I left home for the first time. Everything changed. I became an adult in that kind of way, you know, I had to grow up a bit. And then before that, it was just me chasing my own personal dreams, which was to be a famous director. So it's just interesting to see how it's just changed me completely, man. And me and my wife haven't had a day since we were married that this hasn't been a part of our life. So,
man, she is a strong woman. She is awesome.
She is, man.
We'll talk again in 10 years. There you go. That's awesome.
But because I got in trouble a bit because last year we did a big media thing and a lot of time on radio and that. I was like, you know what? I'm probably not going to stop at 10,000. I'm just going to keep going till I die. And then Belinda's like, no, you're stopping. You're stopping at 10,000. Like, this thing is. So I thought, okay. So the goal is that once I get to 10,000, I'll tell you, my big dream with this, man, is I want to get to 1 billion dreams, which sounds impossible. And in my mind, it was impossible.
Well, if you're doing one every day, I hate to break it to you.
Well, I figured out it's 10,000 filmmakers doing what I'm doing for 10,000 days.
No.
So as soon
you're
as
going to franchise this bad boy.
Yeah, so when I get to the end of 10,000 days, that's my journey. I don't want to get help. And a lot of people have said, why don't you just get other filmmakers in and make it, you know? Or you could do 5 a day and finish in 10 years. But no, I think it's my personal journey. I got to do 27 years. But once I've done it, man, I want to get it to a point where I can actually bring in 10,000 filmmakers around the world. And in the course of my lifetime, I think I'd be 50. So 77, we could be on Billion Dreams when I'm 77 if we go through that motion. That's the big dream of this, man.
The current rate, that is 1/7. No, yes, it's 1/7 of the world's population. By then, it'll probably be about one very small amount, 1/10 or something.
And hopefully by then, social media and that will be at a point where you can store 1 billion dreams, because that's the big issue. Where do you put 1 billion dreams?
Actually, speaking of social media, you mentioned it before. How much of an eye do you keep on the hits and the likes and all that sort of thing?
I'd say a lot. Like, I think up until recently, man, it's especially last year. And I think last year why I got stagnant was I forgot why I was doing it, and it became more about likes, and it became more about engagement and how do I get engagement. So as soon as the engagement went down, my mindset, my happiness went down. And basically every day my happiness was based off how well the dream did. And now
I think that's illustrative of a lot of youth and a lot of people these days. You know what I mean? They have this false sense of security.
That's why mental health is so bad at the moment.
It
actually affects you so much.
Massively.
And now getting way more hits, but I think I can just shut it off a bit more. You know, I can do, but it's still bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if a dream doesn't perform well, I'll be like, why the heck didn't that perform well? What, the people not like it? What? And then suddenly you start thinking all these things. And
but you just got to realize that not every dream is what you're doing is the importance for you. The importance for the whole project is you're capturing someone's dream. You're letting someone open up to you and share something with you. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Some people won't give a shit. But at the same time, for that person, you've made that person, change for a moment. You're going to give them something to think about, and they may carry on thinking about that.
It's like
so stop being such a selfish shit, and don't worry about the numbers. But no.
100%, man. Yeah, because it's like a ripple effect. I probably won't realize the effect it will have on people until later on down the track, you know?
Yeah.
And I've kind of got to the mindset where I've gone, look, at the end of this project, if it's only affected 2 people, that was worth it. If you can make it 2 people live their dream because of something I did, then it's worth it. Like, like obviously it'd be amazing to have millions of people impacted, but if you can impact one person's life, like that's what it's about, eh?
Yeah, totally.
But it's still hard, man. Like, obviously, and I think I gotta be careful because the last like month, I think I've done like 20 celebs or something. Like, I gotta be careful I don't go down that rabbit hole because it could be so easy to just
then it becomes all about that.
Because suddenly all the opportunities are coming up to get celebrities, and then I get excited and you just jump on that. And an example recently, because I went through a period where I did like back to back. I did Lydia Ko, Jacinda, Jane Goodall, Bowden Barrett, Brenda McCullum, you know, and it was just like boom, 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 and the engagement went boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then I did somebody in the middle of that wasn't famous.
Yeah.
And the engagement was very low. And I was like, oh crap, oh no. And so I was like, oh, I got to do a celebrity tomorrow to bring it back up. Which is a bad mindset to have because now it's getting dangerous to the point where if I'm not growing every single day, I'm, you know, like because the mindset now is like, how do I grow this thing? Every day I've got to get more hits, got to get more engagement, build this brand. Yeah. And when I post people who aren't well known, usually the engagement is a lot lower and it probably won't grow as much. But actually that's where it started. That's what it's about. It's about people who don't have a voice. Also,
a lot of these things are slow burners. Yeah. So over time, they'll pick up. Yeah. You know what I mean? You'll have non-celebrities or whatever, man on the street. Yeah. And for some reason, that's going to be interesting to a lot of people. With the expansion of with the growth of what you're doing, you're going to get international audiences. You're going to get a lot of different audiences, and they're going to go back on your legacy and take a look at who else you've spoken to, and they're actually going to be curious about what a New Zealander's like. You know what I mean? What do they dream about that aren't celebrities? Most of them won't know who are celebrities in New Zealand or whatever, but it doesn't matter. They're just going to be curious as to what other people's dreams have been. So you can look at it from that angle as well. But yeah, as I said, don't be such a selfish shit. It's not about you, bro. I know. Thank you, man. I needed to hear that. Going back to filmmaking. Yeah, bro. You want to be the greatest filmmaker of all time? Who, in your opinion, is the greatest filmmaker of all time? I'm all about Spielberg. You're Spielberg. I'm all about Spielberg, man. I don't think he is the greatest director of all time, but he's easily one of them, and he's the most influential director, I reckon. I think so too. Especially for our generations, he was the man, and he is the man. And he's crossed generations too. Like we are 2 different generations, but for my parents, me, and you, that's 3 generations, and he's affected all of them. You know what I mean? And his films are so good and so solid that you can go back and watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jaws, anything like that, and you can appreciate and you can get into it because his storytelling is so good. I agree, he's not the best director in the world, but his storytelling and the way that he does it, it just works. But if I was to go desert island with one director's film work, 100% it'd be Spielberg. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't go with Kubrick's film to a deserted island and watch. It'd be depressed. Watch The Shining every day. And then you got the other end of it. It's like, I'm going to do Michael Bay films. It's going to take Michael Bay films. You're just like, please shoot me. Yeah, and I think what I love about Spielberg, man, is it's just magical. He brings that magic out of film. Yeah. And I remember that period where I gave up film for 6 months. I remember it was at the very end of that period, it was New Year's, and I was driving back home from Whangarei, and I literally, because I forgot why I love film, and I pulled over the car, and I wrote down on my phone, Spielberg, and I literally just had like a epiphany where I was like, Spielberg, that's why I love film. And then I went back and watched all his films, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is why I love film. It's about the magic. It's about... Yeah. And he is so influential. Yeah. I think filmmakers today are getting too carried away with subplots and structures and acts and all that sort of stuff. So Spielberg's just your basic 3-act structure. He knows what cues to pull. He knows how to do it, and he knows how to put a genre, do it into any genre. Yeah. And you just fall in love with his films. Whereas you get some directors now, they're just chucking in random stuff for the sake of it. Some are trying to get a little bit more woke than they should be. Some are trying to head in different directions, and it's just taking away from what the film's actually meant to be, which is just entertainment. Yeah. We're supposed to be entertaining people. Some films are documentaries and stuff, for example, are there to impact people. And yeah, it's just what is your angle? What is you going for? That's what I think people need to focus more on. So that, like what you're doing with 10,000 Dreams and filmmakers, it's all about, why are you doing it? What is the reason why you're doing things?
What do you think is the most underrated Spielberg film?
Most underrated Spielberg film?
Yeah.
So the one I mentioned before, I really like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and apparently that's quite an underrated film.
Yeah.
Especially in that quadrilogy. Let's call it a trilogy. For me, it's a trilogy. There was no fourth film. But no, I think something about that film, because he just went dark. You know? He went dark.
I think him and George Lucas were going through divorce at that time. They said that's why it was so dark.
I really liked it. And it was the first one I saw as a kid. I must have been about 8. I can't remember. I was quite young, and seeing that film, and I was just mesmerized by it. And that's why I love film. The thing I like about film is I like that grandeur. I like the big films, I like the old films. Whenever one of the logos comes up on screen, I just I'm locked in. You know what I mean? When that 20th Century Fox logo comes up, or Paramount or whatever it is, it's like it's whimsical. It's dreamy to me, and. Yeah, there's something about old Hollywood. I love musicals and stuff as well,
I call my wife Short Round.
You're joking, really?
but she had no idea that was from Indiana Jones. So when I first started calling her that, she was like, "Are you calling me short and fat?" And I was like, "No, Short Round off Temple of Doom." I don't know why. I just thought it was funny.
Short Round. That's gold.
I just love his character.
That was another thing too at the beginning of Temple of Doom. There's a musical number.
Yes.
They do. What's the song? Anything Goes. It's so random.
I know.
Like, Spielberg, what are you doing? This is awesome.
That movie is.
I love it. It's so twisted. What other directors do you like? Do you watch documentary much? Are you much of a doco watcher?
I love stuff about, I love autobiographies. So if it was a documentary about someone's life, I'm all for that. Otherwise, that's probably the only type of doco I'd watch. I watched the Fire Festival one. That was
gold.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Which one? The Netflix one or the Hulu one? The Netflix one.
Netflix one. Yeah,
That's the best one. Yeah.
But other directors, I think obviously Spielberg. I think that generation, man, George Lucas.
Yeah.
Not because of Star Wars, weirdly enough, because of THX and American Graffiti.
Yep.
So I'm all about the pre-Star Wars Lucas and his life before then, being at film school. The short films he made at film school. I'm all about that. I so inspired by George Lucas, and obviously Star Wars is so inspiring. But once you get into that Star Wars period, it kind of okay, that's when he became huge. I love before he became huge when he was that kind of.
There was a group of them. There was Coppola. There was Lucas. There was I think Spielberg.
Yeah, Brian De Palma.
All of that.
Scorsese.
Yeah, Scorsese. I can't remember. They went to a certain film school or something. I don't know. I'm plugging at straws here. I can't remember. Yeah. But no. That experimental phase for them. You're right. They made some really, really cool stuff.
I love another director I absolutely love, and for some reason I can't think of his name. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What's his name?
The director of that?
Comedy director.
I don't know.
John Hughes.
Hughes.
John Hughes, man. Oh, I love John Hughes films.
Mate.
It's so 80s and so
You've got the most random friggin'... For a 25-year-old.
Well, I don't want to be cliche and be like, Christopher Nolan, Edgar Wright, obviously I love their movies, but that's very cliche being 25 and saying I love Christopher Nolan as a filmmaker. Yeah. Obviously amazing, but I mean, okay, Edgar Wright. I do.
Edgar Wright's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're doing there. Yeah. Edgar Wright's the best. It's awesome. There you go. Yeah.
I didn't love Baby Driver though. I hyped it up so much.
Yes.
Like then Dunkirk, I saw Dunkirk and that back to back on the same night because I was so pumped. But Baby Driver, I was convinced would be like the greatest film. I was like, oh my god, very underwhelmed.
The thing I find with Edgar Wright's films, and I enjoy them all. However, I think all of his films thus far have been a great idea up until halfway, and then they just kind of lose their way. So Shaun of the Dead. What a brilliant idea. A couple of guys you don't realise the zombie apocalypse is happening. Wow. It was brilliant. So for a massive part of that film, it was great. But then, I don't know.
It's too serious.
It just got, it just lost its way and got a little silly. I don't know. I liked the, just the cuteness of the beginnings of his films. Yeah. And Baby Driver was the same. The first half of that was amazing. I hyped up a lot as well. Yeah. And... yeah, it was just the first half was amazing.
I thought
and then
it was
just started to drift.
I thought it'd commit to the music thing the whole time, where it's just music, because that's what it was kind of. And it started like that, where it was in sync to music, And then it kind of, second half kind of just threw that away.
It changes. He changes his style.
I was like,
halfway
commit
through.
to it. And that would have been incredible if he just, the whole thing was a music number going through. But yeah, but my favorite Edgar Wright movie is the one he made when he was 20 called Fistful of Fingers.
I haven't seen that. I've seen pictures and the trailers for it and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's freaking incredible, man. It's obviously no one's seen that film because it's somewhere on YouTube, but it's so creative and clever.
Yeah. I like Matthew Vaughn films. Matthew Vaughn did Kingsman. That first Kingsman film was brilliant, and the first
second one was
it lost it. It was just
too fun.
This is the thing, like directors like that, they make their first films, or their first films of a trilogy or whatever it's going to be, and they've got very little budget. Well, it's a big budget really, but they've got very little budget, and they've got to work with a lot of restrictions. Suddenly, that's a success because that was an amazing film, that first one. And then The Golden Circle comes out, and it's like, oh, they've just been given much more money, and it's just lost its way. You know, you take away the restrictions, and you've got too much to work with, and you can't make things work. But the second one was a bit more.
What was his first film again? It was like a low budget one. I can't remember.
It was a footballing one with because he was originally the producer for Guy Ritchie. Yeah, and then he came Mean Machine.
Lock, Stock, hey.
Yeah, so he did Lock, Stock, and he did Snatch with Guy Ritchie, and then he did Mean Machine, which was who's the old football player? He was Vinnie Jones. It was a Vinnie Jones movie. I'm not sure if that was his first film, but that was his first big release film, and that was okay. I don't really remember it that well. But his X-Men film, what was it, First Class? That was really good too. That was cool. Anything with Michael Fassbender is awesome.
I don't know if I saw First Class.
It's really good. It's based in the 60s, so it's the...
Is that not the time travel one, eh?
No. I think
that was the last one I saw.
Yeah. When they started doing the time traveling shit, I was like, come on. You don't... How many ways do you want to keep Wolverine in the movie? You don't need to do that. just travel your own thing. But no, First Class is really good.
Yeah.
It's all based in the 60s. It's got that 60s vibe. And it's it's pretty funky.
Yeah.
I like it. It's very, very cool.
What other directors do you like?
I'm a Fincher fan.
Yeah.
I like David Fincher very much. There's a dark side of me. So I watch his films. But if you want to see a director who is just a master of his craft, who just always strives for perfection, Fincher films are that. You know what I mean? Everything about his movies are just phenomenal. And from the storytelling, he's the kind of guy that does 80 takes.
Yeah.
And he does that because he knows he's getting more reality from his actors as they get further past take 50, so on and so forth. So, no, Fincher's really good. Movies like Seven and Fight Club and that sort of thing are just like awesome. He knows society, and he looks at society, and he takes that knowledge of the underbelly of society, or that knowledge of voyeurism, and he puts it into his films, and he just understands it, and he shows it really, really well. No, I think it's great. Quite different from Spielberg. Quite different.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's going to be next for 10,000 Dreams? You say you got some big people coming up. You don't want to talk about those, do you? You don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, even when I do the announcements on Instagram, those are locked in, but I'm still getting nervous when I do the announcement that someone's going to pull it.
I get really excited.
What's next, man? 2 weeks we're doing a campaign for 1,000 days where we're going to make someone's dream come true. So we've got a big campaign plan for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Got radio, TV, got all these celebrities on board. It's going to be an awesome campaign, man. So one person's dream is going to come true, and on day 1,000, we're doing a doc on that person's dream coming true, and we're going to release on day 1,000 on the project.
That's cool.
But that's where I'm going with it. So after that day, 1,000, every 100 days, we're going to make someone's dream come true. So that's the direction.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's really, really cool. So are you bothering with terrestrial, or are you just staying online? As in, like, you're going to try and get on any channels or anything like that? With that is what I'm meaning. So 1,000 Dreams. There's potential there to make like a half-hour cool show about something.
Yeah.
Are you in for that, or are you just gonna let's just keep this online?
I don't know. I think the main thing is to stay online. We're gonna do the release on. It looks like the project we're gonna do.
You're completely independent at the moment, eh?
Yeah.
And you want to stay that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to have someone's thumb telling you how to.
Exactly, man. Shit. And I think the online audience is where the people who've been following it for nearly 3 years are. You know.
Yeah. Plus, your audience is the world.
Yeah, exactly, man. But I've got, I've had discussions with people about international things and turning it into doing longer form docos on dreams and kind of doing stuff like that. So it's the type of thing where there's kind of so much potential, like books, speaking, whatever it is. And And it's just, I'm listening to it roll, man. Just seeing where it goes. Because weirdly enough, like every aspect of my life, I've got an end goal. I go, this is where I'm going to go. These are the films I'm going to make.
Yeah.
But 10,000 is like the one thing that I'm like, I have no idea. But I just know it's going to take me somewhere exciting, you know? And I'm just letting it roll and going with the opportunities. And I never would have thought, like when I first started, like, you know, the first 50 days or something, that I'd end up being able to hang out with the Wiggles or whatever, you know, like it's opportunities where you're just like, whoa. And also, man, getting quite a lot of messages now from people that are like, this has affected me. This is something every morning I watch and get excited about, or people have gone, this has helped me to chase my dream. Or I think once you get those messages, you're like, oh, I actually see like the bigger image here. And it's, man, I just want to dedicate my life to helping people dream, which is why we're going to start making dreams come true, because I think that's the next step. It's
That's
like,
really cool.
Make a wish for everyone.
Yeah. How are you what's the, again, you have to raise money to do that sort of thing. How are you?
Yeah, so we're kind of in the middle of some sponsorship things at the moment. So hoping to pull in some sponsorship. But either way, I mean, say we don't get sponsorship, my company will back that. And then as it gets bigger, we can bring in more kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just, I want to do something big for Day 1000. And I think that felt like the right thing to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a really cool idea.
Thank you, man.
How are you going to select that person?
That's a hard part, man.
Right.
So I'm doing a video that we're going to post, and basically you comment what your dream is, and then you'll encourage your mates to share their dream. So I think the main point of this is about people expressing their dream. Sure. Because then they'll have to think about it, then they share it. And then, I don't know, man, depends how well it does. I mean, you might get heaps of comments, and then my team at Frog's just going to pick one that we feel we can best bring to life. Yeah. And we probably won't tell the person that wins it until we know we can actually execute on the dream. Yeah. You know? But that'll be exciting, man. Like I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah. That'd be cool. Like last year I made 3 dreams come true. Not on kind of like a campaign way or anything, just 3 people that I was like, oh, I reckon I can help you. So we had a young girl, 18, her dream was to be a news anchor. So we got her in touch with News Hub, and she read the news with Mike McRoberts.
I think I saw that somewhere.
Probably popped up on Instagram last year. It would have popped up. And then a young dude called Tom, 18, who I actually filmed at Long John Silver. He was working there, and I went up to him and filmed his dream. He wanted to be a rapper, so I set him up with Kings, and they recorded a song together. Oh, shit. Yeah. That's cool. And then another girl who wanted to be a personal trainer, I set her up with Art and Matilda, and they did a training thing. So it's just, man, it's something I'm so passionate about. Yeah, clearly. Doing that stuff, That is awesome, bro. Thank you, man. Mate,
what are your Instagram handles and websites and all that sort of stuff?
So Instagram, my handle is Fraser Grut, which is my name.
You better spell that.
Fraser, then Grut, it's the silent T, or just type in 10,000 Dreams. That's probably the easiest thing. Facebook, it's under my company Frog, which is Frog Productions. Unfortunately, it's not letting me change the name. So
really?
It's for some reason it's just declining my request to change it to 10,000 Dreams.
Is it a page?
It's on Facebook, yeah.
A Facebook page, yeah. Yeah, I set one up the other day and I tried to change the name.
It's very picky, so it's under that, and unfortunately I've just gone too far now to start up a new page. And on YouTube I just started one, and that's 10,000 Dreams. Sweet, Yeah, but Instagram's the main kind of, that's where it's happening.
That's where it's all at,
Yeah.
Mate, thank you so much for coming in.
Dude, thank you.
This has been awesome. Yeah. I feel inspired.
Thank you, man.
I truly do. And best of luck for everything along the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we'll be. I'm going to get you back in definitely.
Absolutely.
Not in 10 years, maybe, definitely in a year or so. Anyways, and when you're doing, especially when you start making dreams come true, let's talk about that. Let's see how it goes, and let's see what works.
Thank you so much, man.
Oh man, cheers. Boom. Sweet.